Your soulmate screamed their love for you in front of everyone. You won't believe what happened. My beloved child, don't skip, stay till the end, because something huge is waiting, because your soulmate just did something nobody around them expected. For so long, they kept their deepest feelings hidden behind silence, distance, and ordinary smiles. Every time your name came up, something changed inside them, but they refused to let anyone see it. Until one unforgettable moment shattered all of that. Surrounded by people, with every eye suddenly turning toward them, your soulmate could no longer hold back. Their voice rose above everything, and they confessed their love for you in front of everyone. The entire atmosphere changed instantly. Conversations stopped. Faces turned. Nobody knew how to react. But your soulmate wasn't looking at them. They were looking for you. And what happened seconds later made this confession far more powerful than anyone realized. Don't skip, because this wasn't simply about saying, "I love you." There was a hidden reason they chose that exact moment, and when you discover it, everything may suddenly make sense. Here is where the story becomes unbelievable. Your soulmate had apparently reached a point where staying silent felt harder than finally revealing the truth. They had spent countless moments wondering whether you understood their feelings, whether you had noticed the little signs, and whether you might secretly feel the same connection. But something recently changed their entire perspective. They realized that waiting forever could mean losing the chance to tell you what was truly inside their heart. So when that moment arrived, they stopped caring about who was watching. Their emotions took over, and the words they had held inside for so long finally came out. Yet immediately after their confession, something unexpected happened. Someone nearby reacted in a way your soulmate never anticipated. Suddenly, everyone became quiet again. Your soulmate froze for a second, because that reaction revealed something connected to you. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because this was the exact moment your soulmate realized their confession might not have been as one-sided as they feared. But the biggest revelation was still hidden. Before speaking in front of everyone, your soulmate had discovered one small detail that gave them the courage to finally stop hiding. Something about your actions, your energy, or a moment they remembered made them question everything they had assumed. What if you had been waiting too? What if both of you had been hiding feelings because neither person wanted to make the first move? That possibility changed everything inside them. And when they finally looked toward you after revealing their heart, their expression carried one silent question they desperately wanted answered. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What happened after everyone heard their confession wasn't embarrassment or regret. Instead, one unexpected response completely changed the direction of the moment, and your soulmate realized that screaming their love for you might have opened a door they once believed would remain closed forever. Then came the moment that changed everything. Your soulmate expected silence after revealing their feelings, but instead, they noticed something that made their heart race with hope. Someone in the crowd looked at them as if they already knew the truth. And suddenly, your soulmate realized their feelings may not have been a secret at all. The little things had been noticed, the way their attention always found you, the way their expression changed whenever you appeared, and the way they could never completely hide what you meant to them. But there was something even bigger. Something connected directly to you. Don't skip, because what your soulmate heard next made them realize that this connection might have been quietly growing from both sides. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and this was only the first sign. What happened next surprised everyone. Instead of stepping away from the moment, your soulmate stood their ground. For once, they weren't trying to hide behind uncertainty. They had already said what their heart had been begging them to say, and now they wanted you to understand why. They remembered every small interaction that seemed ordinary at the time but suddenly felt meaningful, the lingering looks, the unexpected smiles, the moments when neither of you needed many words. Piece by piece, those memories started connecting. Your soulmate began wondering whether you had been leaving little signs without realizing it. And then one particular memory returned to them, stronger than all the others. It was a moment involving you that they had replayed countless times, but now they finally understood it differently. Don't skip. That memory was about to reveal why they believed this wasn't simply a one-sided love story. And just when everyone thought the biggest moment had already happened, your soulmate said something nobody expected. Their confession wasn't about asking for attention. It was about finally refusing to hide something that had become too meaningful to ignore. They wanted you to know that among all the people they had met, something about you had stayed with them differently. Your presence had become impossible for them to forget. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The next thing they revealed was connected to the exact moment they first realized they were falling deeply for you. And strangely, it wasn't the moment anyone would have guessed. It was something incredibly small that you may not even remember doing. But to your soulmate, that single moment changed everything, and once the truth behind it comes out, this entire confession will take on a completely different meaning. And then the memory finally came rushing back to them. It wasn't some grand moment, and that was exactly what made it unforgettable. It was something small you did without expecting anything in return, a look, a few sincere words, or simply the way you made them feel seen when everyone else seemed distracted. You probably moved on from that moment without realizing its importance, but your soulmate carried it with them. That was when something inside their heart quietly changed. They began noticing you differently. Your smile stayed in their thoughts longer. Your presence started feeling strangely familiar. And whenever they tried convincing themselves that it meant nothing, another little moment pulled them back toward you. Don't skip, because your soulmate was about to reveal why that tiny memory became the reason they finally confessed everything in front of everyone. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and the real meaning behind their confession is only beginning to surface. But what happened after that memory was revealed left the entire room watching in silence. Your soulmate admitted that they had tried repeatedly to move past these feelings. They distracted themselves, stayed quiet, and told themselves that eventually the connection would fade. It never did. Instead, every attempt to forget you seemed to make one truth clearer: you had become more important to them than they were willing to admit. Then came the realization that completely changed their thinking. They started remembering certain moments when you looked at them differently too. Moments when your eyes seemed to hold words neither of you said. Moments when the conversation ended, yet neither person seemed ready to leave. Suddenly, your soulmate began questioning whether the connection they had been fighting was something you had secretly noticed as well. Don't skip. Because seconds after they admitted this, one unexpected detail surfaced, and it made them wonder whether you had been waiting for this confession all along. That detail changed the atmosphere completely. Your soulmate remembered one particular moment when they were about to walk away from you, and something in your expression made them stop. At the time, they ignored it because they were afraid of imagining something that wasn't there. But now, standing in front of everyone after finally revealing their love, that memory returned with unbelievable clarity. What if that was the moment you wanted them to stay? What if both of you had been waiting for the other person to finally become brave enough to break the silence? Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate had already taken the biggest emotional step they had been avoiding for so long, but the story was about to turn again. Because just when they believed nothing could surprise them anymore, they noticed your reaction. And what they saw on your face made them realize this confession had unlocked something neither of you could simply ignore. But your reaction was nothing like your soulmate had prepared themselves for. For one suspended moment, everything around them seemed to disappear. They had imagined countless possibilities, yet they had never imagined seeing that unmistakable emotion in your eyes. You weren't looking at them like someone hearing an ordinary confession. Your expression carried recognition, as though the words they had finally spoken were words some hidden part of you had been waiting to hear. And that changed everything. Your soulmate suddenly understood why certain moments between you had always felt unfinished. Why certain goodbyes seemed too quiet. Why one simple glance could stay in their mind for hours afterward. Don't skip, because this is where the confession became something much bigger than anyone standing there understood. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate was about to connect your reaction to one detail they had overlooked from the very beginning. Then something extraordinary clicked into place. Your soulmate remembered how often the two of you seemed to find each other without trying. In crowded spaces, their attention somehow landed on you. During ordinary conversations, one sentence from you could remain with them for days. Even during periods of silence, the connection never seemed completely gone. They had once dismissed those moments as coincidence, but after seeing your reaction to their public confession, they couldn't dismiss them anymore. Suddenly, every unfinished conversation and every meaningful glance seemed to belong to the same story. Your soulmate had spent so much time fearing that speaking the truth would end everything, only to discover that silence may have been the one thing keeping both of you apart. Don't skip now. Something huge is waiting for you, because what happened next wasn't another dramatic declaration. It was quieter, deeper, and somehow even more unforgettable. And then your soulmate did something nobody expected after such a powerful confession. They stopped speaking. They simply looked at you and allowed the truth to remain between you. No pretending. No hiding. No escaping into another conversation. For the first time, the question wasn't whether they loved you. Everyone already knew that now. The real question was what your heart had been holding back. Your soulmate noticed one tiny change in your expression, and immediately their entire face softened. It was as though they had just received an answer without hearing a single word. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The most surprising revelation is still ahead. Your soulmate hadn't confessed only because they were overwhelmed by emotion. There was another reason they chose that exact day, that exact moment, in front of those exact people. And when that reason finally comes to light, you'll understand why this was never meant to remain an ordinary love confession. What nobody knew was that your soulmate had made this decision before they ever stepped into that room. They had reached a point where another day of silence felt impossible. Something had happened earlier that made them realize how quickly an unspoken connection could become a missed opportunity. Suddenly, all those almost confessions, unfinished conversations, and hidden feelings seemed too important to keep postponing. So when they saw you surrounded by everyone, they knew this was the moment. Not because they wanted attention, but because they wanted their truth to be impossible to misunderstand. Don't skip, because there was one thought running through their mind right before they spoke, and it explains why their confession came out with so much emotion. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because they weren't only revealing how they felt in that moment. They were revealing what they had secretly imagined for the future. And that future had your presence written all over it. Your soulmate had started imagining ordinary moments with you, conversations that lasted longer than expected, laughter over little things, peaceful silence where neither person needed to pretend, and the feeling of finally being understood without constantly explaining themselves. That was when they realized this wasn't simply excitement that would disappear with time. Every time they pictured moving forward, somehow their thoughts returned to you. And after their confession, seeing your reaction made those private hopes feel suddenly possible. For the first time, they weren't wondering only, what if I lose this? A completely different question appeared, what if this could actually become something beautiful? Don't skip now, because one unexpected realization was still waiting beneath everything they had said. Your soulmate had noticed something about your connection long before that public moment, but they had been too uncertain to trust it. Then the final piece of that hidden realization surfaced. Your soulmate remembered that whenever they tried creating distance, something seemed to pull the connection back into focus, a conversation at the perfect moment, an unexpected meeting, or a memory that refused to disappear. They began wondering whether some connections become powerful not because everything happens perfectly, but because two people keep recognizing something meaningful in each other despite the silence. And now, after revealing their heart in front of everyone, your soulmate could no longer return to pretending nothing existed. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Their next move would reveal whether they were ready to turn those powerful words into something real. But before they could do anything, one completely unexpected moment occurred between you, and what your soulmate understood from it changed the entire meaning of everything that had happened. And suddenly, that unexpected moment arrived. Your soulmate had prepared themselves for almost every reaction except this one. There was something in the way you looked at them that made their confidence disappear for a second. Not because they regretted confessing, but because they finally understood how real the moment had become. The room was still watching, yet somehow it felt like only two people were there. Your soulmate noticed the smallest change in your expression, and their heart immediately connected it to all those moments they had questioned before. Maybe those lingering looks weren't meaningless. Maybe those unfinished conversations weren't accidental. Maybe the connection they had been trying to understand had quietly been speaking through both of you all along. Don't skip, Because what happened next made your soulmate realize that their public confession hadn't ended the mystery, it had opened the biggest question yet. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then your soulmate remembered one sentence you had once said so casually that you may have forgotten it completely. At the time, they didn't understand why those words stayed with them. But now everything clicked. That simple sentence had made them feel that you understood a part of them other people rarely noticed. And suddenly, they realized why their feelings had become impossible to ignore. It wasn't only attraction. It wasn't only excitement. It was the feeling of being recognized, seen, remembered. That realization hit them harder than the confession itself. For so long, they had wondered why they couldn't simply forget you, and now the answer was standing right in front of them. Don't skip now, because there was still one detail your soulmate hadn't revealed to anyone. A detail connected to the night before their confession, and once that truth surfaced, even the people around them understood why this moment meant so much. Because the night before everything changed, your soulmate had made one private decision: they would stop running from what their heart kept returning to. They didn't know what your response would be. They didn't know whether the moment would unfold perfectly. They only knew they didn't want another chapter filled with words they wished they had spoken. So when they finally declared their love in front of everyone, they weren't trying to create a perfect scene. They were choosing truth over another unanswered possibility. And then, after seeing your reaction, something inside them shifted completely. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate was about to take one final step that nobody expected, not another loud confession, but something far more meaningful. And the moment they moved toward you, everyone realized the biggest revelation of this story hadn't happened yet. And then your soulmate moved toward you, and the entire atmosphere changed. They had already said the words everyone heard, but this next moment wasn't for the crowd. It was for you. With every step, the confidence behind their confession became quieter and more sincere. They weren't trying to impress anyone anymore. They simply wanted you to understand that what they had revealed was real. Then they stopped, looked directly at you, and said something far more powerful than their original confession. They admitted that they had tried to forget these feelings, tried to convince themselves that time would make everything easier, but every path somehow brought their thoughts back to you. Don't skip, because this is where everyone expected you to answer, but before you could, something completely unexpected happened. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because one person standing nearby suddenly revealed something your soulmate had never known. The revelation was simple, but it changed everything. That person had noticed your connection long before either of you openly acknowledged it. They remembered the way you searched for your soulmate in a crowded room. They remembered how your expression changed whenever someone mentioned them. Suddenly, the moments your soulmate had dismissed as imagination had another witness. Your soulmate went completely quiet. For months, they had questioned whether they were reading too deeply into everything, and now someone else was describing the exact signs they had secretly noticed. But the biggest surprise came when they heard about one particular moment involving you, a moment they hadn't witnessed themselves. Don't skip now, because that hidden moment explained why your reaction to their confession felt so powerful. Something huge is waiting for you, and your soulmate was seconds away from discovering that while they had been quietly thinking about you, they may not have been alone in carrying those thoughts. That was when their entire expression changed. The fear that had followed them into this moment began giving way to something they hadn't allowed themselves to feel before: possibility. Not certainty, not assumptions, possibility. They finally understood that the connection between you had left traces neither person could completely hide. Every glance, every pause, every strangely memorable conversation had been building toward this one extraordinary moment. Your soulmate had screamed their love because they believed silence had lasted long enough, but they never expected the truth to uncover another truth waiting underneath it. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is still one final revelation your soulmate needs to hear, and it comes directly from the moment they believed meant nothing. Once that missing piece is revealed, they will finally understand why this confession happened at exactly the right time, and why everyone who witnessed it will remember what happened next. And then the missing piece finally came into the open. Your soulmate discovered that one of the moments they had dismissed as completely ordinary had meant far more than they realized. There had been a time when they walked away believing you barely noticed their absence, but the truth was completely different. After they left, your attention remained fixed on where they had been. Someone nearby had noticed the change in your expression and remembered it clearly. Hearing this made your soulmate freeze. Suddenly, a memory they had carried with disappointment transformed into something entirely different. Maybe they hadn't been imagining the connection. Maybe both of you had simply become experts at hiding what neither of you knew how to say. Don't skip, because this revelation was about to change your soulmate's next move completely. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and what happened in the next few moments was something nobody standing there expected to witness. For the first time, your soulmate stopped searching for proof and simply trusted what the moment was showing them. They looked at you differently now, not with the uncertainty that had followed them for so long, but with the quiet realization that their confession had finally broken through a wall between you. All those unanswered questions were no longer controlling them. They had spoken their truth, and somehow that truth had uncovered memories and emotions that had remained hidden on both sides. Then your soulmate said something surprisingly simple. They didn't make another dramatic declaration. They admitted that they didn't need a perfect answer or a perfect moment. They only wanted honesty between you from this point forward. And those words made the room silent again. Don't skip now, because your response wasn't going to arrive through some huge speech. It came through something much smaller, and that tiny reaction carried more meaning than your soulmate expected. Then came the moment they would remember long after everyone else had gone home. Your expression softened, and your soulmate immediately noticed it. No grand performance was needed. The tension that had surrounded both of you seemed to disappear for a second, replaced by something warmer and more genuine. Your soulmate understood that whatever happened next, the silence between you had finally been broken. But this story still had one last surprise waiting beneath the surface. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The confession everyone thought was the biggest moment was actually leading towards something far more meaningful, the truth about why your soulmate had been unable to let this connection go in the first place. And when they finally revealed that reason, even they were surprised by how simple it was. It wasn't about one dramatic memory. It was about something you had consistently made them feel, and that final truth was about to change everything. And then your soulmate finally revealed the truth they had been carrying beneath every other confession. It wasn't one perfect conversation that made their feelings impossible to forget. It wasn't one unforgettable look or one extraordinary moment. It was the way they consistently felt whenever you were near. Somehow, they didn't feel pressured to become someone different around you. Your smallest gestures stayed with them because those moments felt genuine. That was the real reason distance never erased what they felt. Every time they tried to convince themselves that the connection was temporary, they remembered how naturally their heart seemed to recognize your presence. Don't skip, because this is where your soulmate realized something that completely changed their understanding of love. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because after everything they had confessed in front of everyone, there was still one sentence they had been afraid to say directly to you. That sentence had nothing to do with impressing the people around them. Your soulmate looked at you and finally admitted that what they wanted most wasn't some perfect story. It was the chance to discover what could happen if both of you stopped hiding behind uncertainty. Those words changed the entire energy of the moment. Suddenly, this wasn't about proving feelings or interpreting old signs anymore. It was about what could happen next. Your soulmate had already taken their biggest step, but now they were leaving space for something equally important, your truth. And that's when something surprising happened. Instead of immediately filling the silence, they waited. For perhaps the first time, they weren't running from uncertainty. They were standing inside it, because being honest with you had become more important than controlling the outcome. Don't skip now. The smallest thing happened next, but it carried a once-in-a-lifetime kind of meaning your soulmate instantly understood. Your soulmate noticed that you didn't turn away. That simple moment became louder than everything the crowd had heard before. After all the fear, all the hidden emotions, and all the nights spent wondering whether they should speak, there you were, still present in the moment with them. Their expression softened because they realized the confession hadn't pushed you away. It had finally created the honest moment both of you had been avoiding. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Everyone thought they had already witnessed the climax when your soulmate screamed their love for you, but they hadn't. One final revelation was still coming, and it would explain why your soulmate believed meeting you had changed the way they understood connection itself. What they said next wasn't louder than the confession. It was almost quiet. But somehow, those final words carried more emotion than everything that came before. And they were about to reveal what your soulmate truly wanted from you now. And then your soulmate finally said the words they had been protecting more carefully than the confession itself. They looked at you and admitted that they weren't asking for perfection, promises, or some impossible fairy tale. They simply wanted one real chance to know what this connection could become when neither of you was hiding anymore. Suddenly, everything made sense. The public confession, the trembling silence afterward, the memories they couldn't forget, it had all led to this one request for honesty. Your soulmate had spent so long wondering whether speaking would ruin everything, only to discover that silence had been keeping the most important truth trapped between you. Don't skip, because the moment those words left their heart, something changed in your expression again. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate immediately understood that whatever happened from here, the connection between you would never return to what it had been before. Then came the moment nobody in that room could have predicted. Your soulmate stopped worrying about everyone watching. The crowd had become irrelevant. They had finally reached the person they wanted to reach, you. And as the silence settled, they realized something extraordinary. Love isn't always revealed through perfect timing. Sometimes it appears through the courage to finally say what has been hidden for too long. Every memory they had questioned suddenly felt different. Every time they had almost spoken and stopped themselves became part of the journey toward this moment. Your soulmate didn't need another dramatic declaration. Their eyes carried everything now. The relief of finally being honest, the hope that you understood, and the realization that one brave moment had changed the entire story. Don't skip now, because there was still one final truth waiting to be revealed, and it was bigger than the confession itself. Your soulmate finally understood that screaming their love in front of everyone wasn't the ending. It was the beginning of something neither of you could have discovered while staying silent. What happened afterward wasn't about the people watching or the shock on their faces. It was about two people finally standing in the same truth after spending so long separated by uncertainty. And that was the once-in-a-lifetime revelation. Sometimes the biggest change begins with one person becoming brave enough to stop pretending their heart feels nothing. Stay till the end, because something huge has been waiting for you throughout this entire story. The realization that the most powerful moment wasn't when everyone heard your soulmate say they loved you. It was when they looked directly at you afterward and quietly showed that, out of everyone in that room, your response was the only one that truly mattered.